and thank you for volunteering to be a ritual usher during the high holidays at Congregation Ohev Shalom. This is a very important aspect of the experience that our guests and members both will have during high holidays here at Ohev Shalom. So we thank you once again for your service and want you to know how very important your role really is. We have three basic categories for those who are working as ritual ushers. We have a lead ritual usher. There is the ritual usher, also known as the runners, and then there is the liaison. The lead ritual usher is positioned near the front of the sanctuary. That's on the right side, right as you're facing the bima, so over by where the choir is, on the aisle along the wall. Their job is to direct the honorees into the first pew, that first row of seats, for staging before they have their actual honor, and then to signal them that it's time to ascend to the bima to go up for their honor. You should be stationed as a lead ritual usher behind the choir setup, that is over by the ramp. It's also going to be important to briefly remind each honoree of what their honor is. So even though they're sitting there, they've been sent up because they have a specific honor. Before you send them up to the bima proper, just to remind them you'll be opening the ark. You'll be doing your English reading from that larger podium where the cantor was, and so on. Next, we have the ritual ushers, also known as runners. Their job is to locate honorees to send them up to the front, where the lead ritual usher will have them seated in the front row and take it from there. So the ritual usher's job: locate honorees in advance of their honors. You need to check in at the honors check-in table. When you come in, go to the honors check-in table, talk to the volunteer there, who will let you know if there are people who have shown up or who are not there yet for their particular honor. If you're looking for someone, trying to track them down for their specific honor, again, it may be useful to go out to the check-in table and ask the person there to check their list and make sure that the person has arrived, especially before you give that honor away to someone else. Second, you're going to be sending the honorees up to the lead ritual usher for staging in the front row. You want to try and do this somewhere around 10 minutes, not too much longer than that, before the actual honor occurs. Now, times are listed in the outline, but you really need to pay attention also to the page number that we're on, and even necessarily to the prayer that we're on, because we may be a little ahead or a little behind on the times as they're listed in the outline of the service. And what's more, even if you just rely solely on the page number, if the choir is doing something, if it happens to be something which takes more time to chant or for us to read through, it may be a little misleading. So you don't have to be precise, but we don't want people to sit for 20, 25 minutes waiting to be sent up to the bima, where they may be waiting a few more minutes longer. And then finally, your job is to find a replacement for the person if indeed they haven't shown up for their honor. So if in looking for them and asking folks who may know, if you don't know the person by sight, if you go to some of the other ritual ushers, perhaps to staff members or greeters, and you still can't locate the person, you've checked with the check-in table, the honors check-in table, and they have no record of the person arriving either, then as we're approaching that honor, you may need to find a replacement. Be sure to alert the liaison, that's the next one we're going to talk about, to alert the liaison with anything the lead ritual usher needs to know. So you don't have to go all the way up to the front to talk to the lead ritual usher. Just alert the liaison. That's the liaison's job, which brings us to the liaison. Role number 3. The liaison serves as the communication link between ritual ushers and the lead ritual usher, as we've just said, and also serves as the communication link between the ritual ushers, lead ritual ushers, door ushers, and the bima. So if information has to be passed to the folks on the bima, to cantor, to myself, to anyone else who was up there, including Gabayim or the board representative. The liaison's job is to do that. So if you are a lead ritual usher, if you're a ritual usher, you need to get word to the bima, find the liaison. The liaison is the one who will bring that information up to us. If the information is urgent and the liaison is not available, or you can't find them, seek out people in this order. 1, a member of the Board of Trustees. 2, the Jewish Life Committee chair. 3, a door usher. All right. Don't pull the lead ritual usher off their post. Don't pull a ritual usher off their post of tracking down honors, because timing is everything in that job. If you are trying to get a message to the bima and you can't find the liaison, look for a board member first, then look for the Jewish Life Committee chair, and thirdly, if you can't find any of those folks, ask the door usher to come to the front. If staff attention or staff action is required for some reason, see Steve Brownstein, our executive director. He'll be in his customary spot in the sanctuary. If conferring with another ritual usher or with a lead ritual usher or the liaison is absolutely necessary, then please limit your conversation to immediate need. It's a short but demanding shift that you'll be working, and we understand that. Some conversation is going to be necessary, some conversation is going to be helpful, but we want to make sure that we don't have too much conversation going on, so we are distracting our congregants. The acoustics in the sanctuary at Ohev Shalom can be rather tricky. There are echo nodes, so to speak, which amplify conversation to those who are sitting nearby. Sometimes there are even ricochet spots. You can be standing underneath it, you're speaking, but what you don't know is that that sound is actually ricocheting off the ceiling, believe it or not, and landing someplace else in the sanctuary, including on the bima. So there are times when people are sitting in seats and talking among themselves that we can actually hear what they're saying up on the bima. So be aware of that. Finally, be aware that we are live streaming all our services, and we now have an audio induction loop, a hearing loop for those who have hearing aids that have a T-coil setting or who have cochlear implants. Our microphones pick up sound and send it over the sound system in the sanctuary, but they also pick up sounds and send it through live stream and through the hearing loop. And sound that doesn't make it through the speakers quite often does make it through live stream and through the hearing loop. So even though what you're saying may not be picked up on the mics and go through the speakers in the sanctuary, if you're anywhere in the vicinity of a microphone, it may well be going through live stream or through the hearing loop or both. So just be aware of that. One last thing for ritual ushers, mincha on Yom Kippur in the afternoon. That service is led primarily, most of the honors and the Torah reading and the Haftarah are done by our teens. They may need help from a ritual usher, but remember that they're teens and they'll get it done. It may be a little looser of a format than we typically have, but we're very proud, and it's really exciting that our teens engage in that important way. So once again, thank you so much for taking on this extremely important job of being a ritual usher for Congregation Ohev Shalom.